Hey kids, it's Jurassic James, and on this Jurassic James Explains, looking at Agustinia. This guy here, here, and here. The other animals are here for other analogies. That being said, let's get started. Yo, what time is it? Showtime. Like I said, showtime. Say, I'm Agustinia, and the place to be is South American Cretaceous. I'm eating up greens. The sauropods want to mess with me, and then pop. I don't know why I did that. The point is, 1996 and 7, Agustinia is discovered in South America. It was written in a paper in 1998 by Bonaparte. Of course, he's on almost every dinosaur name down there. At least the ones that make toys, right? And the name Agustinia, it was going to be Augustina, but guess what? Just like Mononicus and just like Megaceras, the other guy I did. There's another dinosaur I did recently. I can't remember what it was, top of my head. But the idea was they were going to do, they had one name, and that was a beetle. So they had two different animals' name, right? So the idea here is that it was Agustinia. The point of the story is there are a lot of beetles out there, and every time we get a new dinosaur name, it turns out to be a beetle's name. You have to kind of tweak it a little bit. Anyway, back on point. So I first ran into this animal, not in a scientific paper. I was looking through not a kid's book, but like a dinosaur-y kind of, upper kid book, I guess we call it. And they show it, and I had never seen a sauropod with armor like this before. It was really different, it was really exciting, and I was really confused. So I looked for papers for it, and there it was. And it turns out that in 1996, 7, they found essentially part of a femur. The femur was in such bad, the upper thigh bone was in such bad condition, they didn't even bother digging it out. The tibia and fibula, these lower leg bones, and metatarsals, the bones in the middle of your feet. Then some of these what thought to be armor. Now, since then, other papers have said, actually, those might not be armor plating. It can actually be like other ribs and hip bones. But the initial thought was, when they first found it, was they found a new stegosaur. You say, wait, that's all plates. Yeah, as I told you in my stegosaur video, some stegosaurs, like Kitrosaurus here, have plates and spikes. So it wouldn't have been out of the question to see one with weird spikes like this. But given the size, the animal was estimated to be around 49 feet long, which is, by sauropod standards, very small. That being said, here's the figures real quick. The first one I received was this Procon one. The company's Procon. And I can't critique it because we don't have much of the animal. So, usually with Stegosaurus, Triceratops, I can be like, oh, it should have 5 toes. We can look at the sauropods, and we'll do that right now. So in general, what's going on here is Titanosaurs, right? So Titanosaurs are first showing up in the Jurassic period, but more dominant in Cretaceous period, and particularly the Southern Hemisphere. We do have Titanosaurs in Asia, Europe, and in North America. In fact, in Texas, we have Alamosaurus, but not that Alamo. The point is that Titanosaurs are these sauropods that have like armor plating in their skin, like Saltosaurus and Argentinosaurs. But which is ironic because Titanosaurs are usually really big, and they're the smallest toys. I think the toy companies don't want to risk making a giant Titanosaur figure. They kind of stick to the Brachiosaurs, which brings me to Brachiosaurs, who is their cousin. The group is called Macronaria. They have big nose horn. No, not nose horn. Naris, the nose hole in dinosaurs. So these guys on average have, equal sized limbs, not longer arms, big boxy heads, and spoon-shaped teeth. So the Macronarians include the Brachiosaurus type and Titanosaurs. On the other branch we have the Diplodocus type. They usually have shorter arms, longer legs, horse-like heads, and pencil-like teeth, basically. And my video on Amargasaurus, I think 2 weeks ago, was about this guy, a Diplodocus descendant or lineage. So where Agustinia falls in this grouping, we're not really sure. And it's kind of scary because these are very big branches, but some of them, it has apparently some Diplodocus features and some Titanosaur features. Now, the spines we see here are actually in question now because they seem to have a different structure internally than most Titanosaur spines. So it's been argued that they could actually be ribs or hip bones that were misidentified. So it makes it a really interesting story, but here's why it's so important, because I'm going to go over this for the end too more. This is Edmontosaurus. This is my first Edmontosaurus figure. Here is a newer Edmontosaurus figure. And here is a figure of a Nanotitan. If you watch Walking with Dinosaurs, the BBC version, they have a Nanotitan. The T-Rex kills it and eats it. The idea is that since this toy came out, they have decided, being the scientific community, have decided that Nanotitan is not its own genus. It's a different species within Edmontosauria. So this guy's genus name, Nanotitan, meaning giant duck, got absorbed into Edmontosaurus. Turns out this figure is very rare because they don't make figures of dinosaurs that don't exist anymore, kind of thing. So that being said, with Agustinia here, with this animal being something that's being kind of debated and studied, if they find more of them and they find out that they may not have had this kind of armor plating, had a different design, these models will be more rare because companies won't continue making outdated models, basically. Now, am I giving you speculation on how to buy in the market? No, I am nowhere qualified for that. But the idea in general is that you're looking at these two figures and we're seeing this nexus point in paleontology, because usually people, I give you like Stegosaurus story, a Triceratops story, a Ceratosaurus story. Those animals are very well known for over a century. We've been studying them, comparing them, multiple skeletons. But with these guys, it's only one specimen. So it's kind of cool because we're going to see what changes happen in our future. But this one, of course, is Procon, I mentioned earlier. This is Collect A. So they're different companies, but they have this general same design because why not go for that? These are the parts they knew about. But the picture I actually found first had more of a big flat back and they were going out sideways. But much like Stegosaurus, if they are spikes, they're not attached to the skeleton, so we have really no idea how they'd be aligned if they were real. But to the point, the grand focus point. Last time I showed you, I got in the mail from Dinosaur Park in Bastrop. I will remind you, and I will make it clear that this video is not a commercial or a sponsored thing. They're not paying me to do this. People always ask me, where do you get all your dinosaur toys? And if you don't know, there's some there and up and down. There's some over there you can't even see. The idea is that people, where do you get them? I'll put a description below that they have these guys there. And if you go online in their store and don't see what you want, you can email them because they have more than they put online yet. Because I have a website and I know how hard it is to add new stuff all the time. So anyway, that being said, let's get to this guy with the official scissors of Jurassic James. That being said, let's cut open. Oh, they're air holes for it to breathe. We'll just exploit those. Let's see. Now, what I like the most about this animal is the size. I'm a sucker for large sauropods, I swear. But let's see here, and though it's bored, it emerges. Ooh, nice. So Schleich is a company, and basically, so we're seeing three different companies: the Procon, Collect A, and Schleich. So you're seeing their interpretations. These guys kind of copy each other, but this one has more of the original design I saw with the flat back here with these spines going out. It is a beautiful figure. Again, I cannot tell you if the number of toes or fingers are correct but it's cool. And again, despite my nitpicking and attacking and critiquing these figures, I want you to always know that if a toy makes you happy, that's all that matters. That if you see a figure in the store and you're like, that's beautiful, I like it, it makes you think cool, that's great. I tend to lean more towards scientific accuracy because of my career and life goals. But the idea is that if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. And this guy, it makes me very happy. It's really cool. I mean, it's a really neat sauropod. And this is a really neat model. And I remember when I first saw it on the Dinosaur Park website, I was like, I'm gonna take that home. I ordered it through the mail, but take it home eventually. But let's see. I like that. It has. You can't quite see it. It has a little smile on its face. I mean, can sauropods smile? I don't know. They don't seem to have the same musculature in their face. It's like a cow, basically, but they're not chewing like a cow. They're just stripping and swallowing anyway. The length of the tail, their tails kind of terminate because titanosaur tails aren't giantly long. I mean, the Diplodocus has a long tail. The Barosaurus has too, not as long as the Diplodocus. But, I mean, again, they don't have, like, that part of the animal. So, it's a pretty good guess. And like I said, if I were you, I'd grab one because just in case they find more of it and they redefine how it looks, you're going to want to have that earlier example. Because when I was a kid, I only wanted the most accurate ones at the moment. Because, of course, science, But I realized in hindsight that I'm glad I did keep my older models because it shows, as you saw with any of my videos, the earliest example and how they change over time. And that's kind of really cool for me, basically. That being said, that's Agustinia. This guy's really cool. Normally I would talk about the number of vertebrae and the tail and the hips and all that. I do like the fact that on this model, the way the skin looks, because, I mean, first of all, we don't think sauropods had feathers. Everyone goes, dinosaurs had feathers, but not all of them did. Or there's not proof for all of them having. I mean, sauropods are the ones we think wouldn't because most likely, there's a whole lot of math behind this. The size of the body ratio. I mean, think about elephants have lost, they have hair still, but not as much. They lost it compared to a shrew or a beaver. So the idea is that if you've got, and we see feathers in early dinosaurs as an installation thing, in sexual selection, getting boyfriend or girlfriend. But the idea here is that the skin having these large armor plating, more reptilian-like, that tracks basically. Plus, if it does have these spikes, it could have other armor in it, and that lines up too. So these are really cool models, and like I said, it's almost like if you get the whole set, the little family of them walking together on the floodplain of South America. With that being said, thank you for tuning in. Next week we're doing Postosuchus, which is a fan favorite, and I got one from Dinosaur. The last three I bought from Dinosaur Park were from that same package. This is a really cool model. I like it a lot. I mean, even how the skin, it's like it's kind of bunching up here. It's stretching there. It's in mid pose. I often complain, knowing me, like I often like it when the toys are just stretched out like this. But if you're gonna, and most of the time the companies will make them turn their heads or whatever to give you more of a, make it smaller for packaging and all that. But also, to me, it's not too crazy here. The head's not going back around like that. It's really, really great. This is really cool. I'm just gonna stare at it for a minute and appreciate it. And while I'm doing that, there's these boxes all around. You should click on one and subscribe and share, because people need to know the message and see Jurassic James rap, apparently. See you next week, guys.